Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I'm using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information. Welcome back, you guys, to video number 2. Once again, lots to cover. Let's get in there, shall we? Let's go. Lots of messages were put out on the day by Eugenie and Fergie. Everybody put out a message, but I'm not going to cover all of those. But I am going to say what King Charles did. He paid tribute to his mother. He repledged service to the nation. He put out a message marking the first anniversary of her death. And he said, quote, "In marking the first anniversary of her late Majesty's death and my accession, we recall with great affection her long life, devoted service, and all she meant to so many of us. I am deeply grateful, too, for the love and support that has been shown to my wife and myself during this year as we do our utmost to be of service to you all." Perfectly said. Now, with that, the King and Queen went to a church on the grounds of Balmoral. This is where the royal family, oh my goodness, it's been on the estate since Queen Victoria, okay? And anyway, they went into the church for the service. They stopped briefly to chat with well-wishers and then went into the church for the service. Now, when they came out, Charles, again, they stopped to speak to people, but he looked very overcome, very emotional. You could see from the pictures, you could tell he had been crying. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, listen, most people don't have their parents alive for 3/4 of their life. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this man was actually very lucky to have his parents, both of them, as long as he did. Now we're going to look at William and Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales. They went to a special church service at St. David's, West Wales. William and Catherine arrived after 1:30 p.m. People broke into applause. They had a long way to walk. They walked all the way down, and Catherine looked very regal as usual. They said hello to everybody. They waved. I loved her outfit. I love the color. I thought that was very appropriate for the occasion. Really quickly, just so you know, there was a service that they participated in. It was all about the celebration of the life of the late Queen, and apparently the service was done in Welsh and English. When the service ended, Catherine and William were given an absolutely gorgeous bouquet of flowers. They went around the corner and they laid the flowers for the Queen. Now, first of all, gorgeous church. Let me just say this picture is just, very nice. So they laid the flowers, and I think it's interesting that the dean said, and I'm quoting, "I was struck that they spent quite a time as they laid the flowers, and in many ways our job is to give them space for their remembering, because even if we had fleeting encounters with Her late Majesty, none are part of the immediate family, and it's not for us to question what they're going through, but to give them space to do whatever they feel they need to do." Very nicely said. Now, as they left, they were surprised by a group of local school children who gave them a different selection of flowers and presents. And, the two of them obviously love children. They took the obligatory selfies, and then they headed off. And a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for letting me know that basically everything that Catherine was wearing was a rewear except for the hat. That was new. Now, you would think that would be the end of them for the day, but no. Apparently, they went to see the first regenerative ocean farm. Very interesting. It's a seaweed farm in Wales. So they changed clothes and they headed over there. In their usual fabulous selves, they met staff and volunteers at the farm. They learned about how, all of this impacts the work on the ocean environment. They took a boat out onto the farm to actually see the seaweed lines that are there. Catherine was not afraid to put her hands in there, as is usual. The company just installed an ocean farm where various species of seaweed, oysters, scallops, they're all grown there, which is pretty cool. One of the big investors of this company is the company that won the Earthshot Prize, where they make plastic things, or they got rid of plastic things and they make it out of seaweed. I think that's pretty cool. Now, when that was over, William and Catherine transferred onto St. David's lifeboat, and they went back to shore and they met members of the lifeboat crew. So they had a very full day in Wales for sure. Catherine got flowers and William got honey. Nice. All right, moving on. Really quickly, Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, decided on the first anniversary of the Queen's passing to go to a pastime that they both loved, and she attended the Cornbury House International Trials in Oxfordshire. You know, we know that she was very close, and she went to see the horse trials, and yeah, she looked very happy and relaxed. You guys may not know this, but she learned to ride a horse just so she could ride with the Queen and be closer to the Queen. A big thank you to Remoulade Sauce, as usual, for all the information on what she was wearing. Moving on. Now, in the meantime, the articles were coming out. Harry was going to be landing in the UK. He had no plans to meet up with his family. Several people came out and said it's a snub. He's refusing to see his family. He wasn't. The family was refusing to see him. Again, I'm going to quote what Piers Morgan said. Imagine flying 6,000 miles to the city where your closest family all live and none of them want to see you because you keep trashing them in public. Yep. So he finally shows up in London and he made no opportunity to see his family. Again, we knew that was going to happen. The family made it very clear that they had no wish to see him or speak to him. He has never opened up or offered an apology for the things he said in the spare. Yeah, it's not good. Anyway, he landed and he headed off to the WellChild Awards. Now, this is where things get really, really interesting. Harry can plaster that smile on, but yeah, you can't keep it 24/7. All right, so let's get into the WellChild Awards. Due to Harry's paranoia, the venue was being kept secret, and nobody would tell any of the newspapers the location. They said that the organizers and Harry were paranoid being revealed before the event, okay? This would be Harry's paranoia that he was going to be booed and people were going to yell stuff at him, which I'm pretty sure would have happened. Now, I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. If I was a billionaire or a millionaire and I had money to donate, I would not donate it to this charity. It is an excellent charity. It does excellent work. But I would question any charity that would allow somebody who admits to using cocaine, marijuana, magic mushrooms, and has severe mental issues to be the spokesperson, the face of this charity. So while I'm sure the charity is great, I myself wouldn't donate to it or have anything to do with it because they choose to keep Harry as their spokesperson. I think that's disgraceful. Just my opinion. All right, let's go back. Now remember, Harry and Meghan have to keep their contact with the royal family. This is their currency, their full currency. So Harry gets up to give a speech. This is what he said. Now, I'm quoting what he said, okay? So listen to this. He said, "As you know, I was unable to attend the awards last year as my grandmother passed away." Okay, she would have been the first person to insist that I come to be with you all instead of going to her. And that's precisely why I know exactly 1 year on that she's looking down on all of us tonight, happy we're together, continuing to spotlight such an incredible community. Now, those comments really upset people. He doesn't represent the crown. People couldn't figure out what he was saying. She's the first person to insist I come to you. Just a reminder, he had a day or two in between all the visits last year. They were invited to go and visit her. She was dying. Harry and Meghan had to have known she had bone cancer and was dying, and they refused to go see her. He had every chance to see her 3 days before she passed away, and he said no. I think it's pretty obvious that Harry is trying to rewrite history again, but everybody remembers how that went. In the meantime, according to this Twitter user, Lady C confirmed that Harry and Meghan were the ones who held up the Queen's children because Harry was trying to argue that Meghan should be there. Yeah, no, I don't think so. You know, people have memories like elephants. And they don't allow you to just rewrite history. You can't just rewrite history. He said some horrible things about his grandmother. He ruined the amount of stress he put on her towards the end of her life was, nobody's forgotten that. Now, people mentioned Meghan and said she's so sad she couldn't be there, but people remember her threats just days before the Queen died. Do you guys remember all that? Do you guys remember when she said in Cut magazine, quoting, "It's interesting. I've never had to sign anything that restricts me from talking. I can talk about my whole experience or make a choice not to." But he's making sure to mention Meghan with the Queen's name. He also made sure to mention his children with the Queen's name. Remember, the royal family is their currency. Now, headlines came out saying that Harry was trying to avoid attention while the rest of the family was united in grief because Harry went to visit King George's Memorial Chapel in Windsor, where the Queen is buried. And he went on his own, and they're saying he tried to make it a secret visit. He tried to, slip in and out. No tie, no jacket. He looked like a hobo, okay? But come to find out, once again, this was a PR stunt. At least I think it was. Well, the reason I'm saying that is, as you can see, this post was put up saying a member of the public just happened to spot Harry coming out and snapped the picture, okay? This is the person, it's being alleged, who snapped the photo. But do you guys see what I see? Look at the bottom, followed by Rebecca English. And so the person who took the photo is a friend of hers. Yep. Now, you guys should know also that this is a very, very old Twitter account, which has since been deactivated, oddly enough. Right. I think it's important to know that multiple other people from the royal family went to Windsor to pay their respects to the Queen, but somehow only one person managed to be accidentally papped. You guys know what I'm saying. Moving on. So Harry got done with that, hopped on a plane, God knows private or paid for by Germany again, we'll see. And he flew to Dusseldorf for the start of the Invictus Games, which starts on the next day, okay? He didn't see his family. He got driven to a 5-star Hyatt hotel. He passed usual checkpoints at the German airport, so the Germans didn't check him to see if he had any drugs on him. That would have been a kicker if it turned out he had brought drugs across the border. Anyway, he got into the hotel, which it turns out is like this big fancy schmancy 5-star place. Now, here's the interesting thing. They're claiming, or it's being claimed, that this hotel is $2,000 a night, and he and Meghan are paying that to stay there. I beg to differ. I think either the hotel gave it to him for free, or I think the German authorities paid for it. I don't believe for 1 second that Harry and Meghan are paying $2,000 a night for the hotel. Remember what happened in New York before the chase that didn't occur, where they asked the hotel to give them that room at the Carlisle, I believe it was, and the Carlisle said, no, we don't give freebies. But when I look at these rooms, this lap of luxury, I simply have to ask myself, is that how the other people, is that how the people that are, competing, how are they living while they're in Dusseldorf? How are they staying? Are they getting to stay in a $2,000 a night hotel room that looks like this, or are they slumming it more than likely? Because that's what I think is going on. Right. Now, what happens whenever there's, Harry or the family is out in the public eye? What happens? Meghan pops up for some sort of a pap stroll. Here we go. Meghan is suddenly spotted driving her car for the first time in 2 years. It's a $140,000 Range Rover, and she's wearing sunglasses, and she drove around in Montecito. Nobody saw her stop. Nobody saw her get out of the car. Nobody saw her do anything like that. She basically got behind the wheel, drove around for a little bit, and then probably went back to the house. It's just enough for backgrid. Yes, Paula Papp is the one who took the photos. So that's what really happened. But she had to make sure to pop up, to grab that little bit of publicity, because we know that's what she does. Predictable. Now, Interestingly enough, I think you should know that, of course, CBS Good Morning did a thing on the Invictus Games and, is trying to push the narrative. Now, look in the bottom left corner. Who's sitting there in that yellow dress? Gayle King. You guys, it just couldn't get any more predictable. I'm telling you. All right, you guys, leave those comments, and I definitely want to hear what you think about the new intro and the new exit, of course. Leave those comments. Have a great day.